Hi, friends. Welcome to a Help Me Rhonda episode. We are on episode 10. Thank you guys for taking the time to ask your questions. They hopefully are helping you, but they're also helping many other demonstrators who are working through many of the same issues. I always believe in us working together as a team, as a community in helpful, constructive, positive ways to help all some of the issues that we all go through. No one quite understands our business except for those of us who are in it. It always makes me laugh when someone will ask me in front of my husband, what I do for a living, or he's always like, it's really hard to explain. Yes, we own our paper crafting business, but all the things that go into that. So, but we do know we are in a sisterhood. We are doing this together, and I only want to help and see you continue to succeed and grow and work through some of these issues in, again, a positive way. So welcome to a Help Me Rhonda episode. We had another question come through. If you have any questions or struggles or anything you would like to see me tackle in a future episode, in this description is a link with a survey for you to be able to type in that question so that I can answer it in the future. So number one, this one came from, hi Rhonda, I do a home-based card club. Plus, I've started a card ministry at my church. That's awesome. This is from Sheila. I've had ladies from church ask about card classes. My main issue is, how do I design cards? I can make other people's cards all day long, but I struggle with how to make a card class like the ones you do. Sheila, this is a really good question. You asked that question, but I also want to take it just one step further to say that when I see demonstrators struggle, one of the number one things that I'm diving into, and it's hard to sometimes confront this. I love that this might be a struggle for you, that we can design all day for just our individual cards, or we can use others to inspire us or copy them exactly. But then when it comes to actually, so creating cards is different than creating cards for a class. It's the same as a basketball coach. Some basketball players can play really awesome basketball, like they're incredible basketball players, but they can't teach it. They can't coach. They don't, it's just there's lots of people that are in any industry that just because you can do it doesn't mean that you can teach it, or that you can set up classes or I'd say practices that actually are easy to go through and people can be successful. So this is a great question. I see a lot of demonstrators give up and don't do classes because they might have done one or two and they were a hot mess and they didn't go very well, and so they go, forget it, I'm not doing that again. I've seen that be a barrier. I've seen demonstrators whose classes don't grow. They just don't grow. And one of the main reasons why is because their classes are either too difficult, their classes are too chaotic, their classes are too long. And so a lot of times they don't get new customers to come. It's overwhelming. It's not an easy, fun experience. So Sheila, this is a great question, and I'm so glad you asked it. And I hope others that are listening see, it's not just that you don't know how to design cards. I know that you know how to design cards or to make cards. But the question is, and a big question is, how do I design cards for a card class? Because what we want for our classes to grow, it's not about how you wow them with your projects. It's not about all the things they learn that night. It's not about having the coolest projects or being cheap or inexpensive. That's not what makes a successful card class. Why people come to classes is because they're enjoying themselves. They're having fun. They feel valued, and they have social friendships there. It's about an escape from their normal everyday life. It's about the euphoria that kind of naturally happens when we are being creative and we are being crafty. That is why people will come to your classes again and again and again. It is also so they can learn some new things. It is so that they can maybe inspire them to use a product that they maybe have already bought or that they want to buy in the future. So we want to make sure that we are designing classes that are enjoyable, that are fun, that are a good value, a fair value, not cheap, but they are priced at what they are worth, where they are being greeted with a smile, and they have there's friendships there and building friendships there, and a place where they can come for a few hours, a couple hours, and just take a break from their everyday life and allow that natural euphoria to come out of them. So you do need to be mindful when you are designing a class that, number one, that they can do it. A lot of people work all day, or they don't have all night to sit and create cards. They want to do more visiting probably than even card making. So we want to make sure that we're designing cards that people can do in a timely manner. Now, I know a lot of you love to do like really neat fun folds and crazy techniques and layers upon layers, and that's okay to do that at a class. But you need to be very aware that maybe you only make one card that night, or maybe two, and you'll do it like a monkey see, monkey do. But we need to make sure that we are setting up our customers for success and for an enjoyable, not stressful evening. There's been classes where I have had my customers be like, okay, too much coloring, too much fussy cutting. I've had a long day. My brain just doesn't work at night anymore. And they end up getting frustrated versus being successful and wanting to come back again. When you are designing your cards, you want to almost time yourself too on how long it even takes you to make them, so you know that they're not that difficult, and that they're not that extra work for them to do. Now, a couple tips that you have I wanted to point here is go ahead and copy other demonstrators that are doing classes. Now, we have like artisan designers, and there's a lot of very creative people out there. Just because it's a beautiful card doesn't mean that it's good for a class. So you want to make sure that you are copying people who are actually doing classes. You could attend a class or take a class, which I know that you have, and then you can tweak it with product that you have on hand to do for your class. Look at the layouts, look at like what products are used. I also feel like when designing an in-person class is also very different than designing a online class. So personally, like when I design an online class, I can use a stamp 4 times, and that's okay because only one person is making it. When I'm designing for an in-person class, I make the card and I pack everything up, and then I do not use that product again because I want them to be able to work on their separate projects all at the same time. So I'll use one stamp one way. I'll use one stamp pad and I won't use it again. So you do need to be mindful. So, and how I do that with my in-person classes is as I'm making the card, I just pack it up and put it away, and then I know that I can't use that again. Now, if there is like something that I absolutely want to use again, then I will actually like take it and stamp it for them. At an in-person class, you can do that. So that way it's already stamped and ready for them to go. I also recommend at in-person classes to do a lot of the prep work ahead of time. If they need like tons of die cutting done or tons of embossing done, I will do a lot of the die cutting ahead of time and put it in their packet. I'll leave maybe one thing or two things for them to die cut so they get the gist of it. But if there is mass production of punching a circle, like they know how to punch a circle. But if they have to stamp it first and then punch it, then I'll leave that for them. So I do like to do a lot of the prep work. Again, I want them to come and enjoy themselves. That is the main part. And so if I can do some of that work at home, I actually enjoy myself so much more because they're happy. They are putting their cards together easily, and there's not all the stress of them getting frustrated or it taking too long. So the more I always say, the more I can do at home when it's just me, then the easier and smoother my class will go, and that will make me happier as well. So those are a couple tips. You also don't want to do too many projects, right? So you gotta, it is a live and learn process. So it is one where I will learn every single time I do a class. I will learn a little bit more about what to change for the next one, or what worked well that I'll do for the next one. So it's something else where you can't just do it one or two times and be like, okay, now I give up. No, we got to learn every single time that we do it. So number one, you have the right to copy. That is, personally, nothing makes me more proud or happy that when someone does copy me. That is the biggest honor I think that could be out there. So you can absolutely use the cards that you are making. If you design them or not, use them in your class. Second of all, don't double use product. Like, don't use the same stamp 4 times, because then everybody will be waiting for that. If you're doing a lot of die cutting and a lot of embossing, do that ahead of time so you don't have like this line at the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. Also, I love to tie the bows for my customers, and they love it. They get to the point where they just leave their ribbon right on the edge of the table, and I come over and tie everybody's bows. But that gives me a chance to talk to them, to visit, to make sure I'm kind of hitting every table and time spent with them. I clean up their tables. I serve them while they're there, and know that I'm there just to help them, teach them, and guide them. So that's some great little tips there. Hopefully that help you. And so you also just got to jump in and live and learn as you go. When you schedule one class, make sure you schedule 6. You do them, 1 every month or 2 a month, and have them set. Consistency is something that is going to help not only you to get better every single time, but also your customers to get better every single time. You kind of got to train them too. When new stampers come in, it's a little bit of a training. They're like, there is no way I'm going to make 8 cards, Rhonda, in 2 hours. And I'm like, oh yeah, you will. You watch. Because again, I do a lot of the work. And by the way, it's 4 cards and they make 2 of each. That's how I've always ran my card classes. And they get it done in totally 2 hours. So it's a lot about doing the work ahead of time. It's about giving each person a separate station to rotate through. So that means you cannot double use product. And I absolutely copy other people's cards too for my classes. It's why I swap. Why else? One of the main reasons why I swap is so that I can get other people's cards to inspire me too. All right, Sheila, great question. I hope that it inspires you to get those classes scheduled, all of you. And if you've done a class in the past and it didn't go so well, then try again, and know that sometimes it is your stamping that can make people either not come back or make the class too difficult or make it so it's just not enjoyable. We want to give them a night of fun, relaxation, joy, and creativity. All right. Again, if you enjoyed this episode and you would love to have more support in your business, we have the Creating Success Training Program. We have over 600 members now. For the last 16 years, and it continues to grow and prosper. And if you have any questions about that, you can message me. There's a link below in this description to ask more additional questions, and to also reach out to learn what kind of business programs do I offer. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.